how can we make a low-budget feature? How can we make something that is interesting, a compelling story? How can we do it cheaply, but also give it a sense of quality, and bring in an excellent cast? And we were able to come up with a great location and shot in New Mexico, in the Las Cruces area, in the MESA Valley, which is where the Rio Grande runs through. It's a beautiful piece of the country, and we had access to a bunch of horses and to a ranch there. It was just a great experience as far as dealing with the local people, the local locations, and everything that lent itself to giving La Mesa a real authentic 1930s style piece.
And you know, when you start a film and you're getting all your pre-production ready, the first thing you have to figure out is, all right, who's doing what? And a lot of the times, because we had such a small crew, we didn't have that luxury. I was the director of La Mesa. That's how I knew about it.
Great.
We had some times where people would show up late, or we had to hurry up and get things done, and we just went with what we had. And you know, it was a lot of almost shooting from the gut as much as it was shooting from the head.
Or the hip? Shooting from the hip?
It was a little bit of shooting from the hip.
We are in New Mexico, so...
And yes, and you can carry a gun in Mexico.
That's right.
Walker's wife, Jen, made some delicious meals, and that's what they got paid in. And it wasn't that they didn't want money, or it was more a fact that they had a passion as well, and they were given an opportunity to live in that passion, even if it was just for 3 weeks. We were driving around finding locations and jumping out of vehicles and saying, hey, let's do it right there, let's go, let's go, let's go. And the actors were great about that too, just giving us an opportunity to not only help them write something better, but to take it and say, all right, I'm going to learn it right now, and I'm going to go with it. And they were just troopers. We
had to kind of come up with an alternate ending, because the original way that we'd had the piece end didn't work, as we went back to the editing process and we realized that this scene does not wrap up the story the way that we want to.
So we have all this material. We have a brand new ending. We have these beautiful shots of New Mexico desert and some great acting. And if you could stick that all into a bucket, shake it around, and then dump out a movie, that'd have been great. But there was a whole lot more work ahead of us, especially ahead of you, Walker, because you got a chance to do the majority of the editing on this film. And tell us what that was like, the opportunity to edit your first feature.
Yes, well, that was more of kind of the duty fell to me, just because we didn't have the budget to really hire a professional editor on a full-time basis. So I said, well, fine, I'll work on it. I'll figure out how to do it. And I spent, I would say, about 1,000 hours of my own personal time working on it, handing it off to a couple of editors here and there along the way, just for their tips and their advice and their guidance. And then once I got to the end of what I could do, of course involving Chris in the process, giving him cuts and letting him give his notes and finishing it up that way. Gave it to another friend who's finishing up the color correction element of it, and another thing that he is helping is an up-res to the HD format. We shot on standard def during a time when standard def was an industry standard. Now, as we're finishing it, the standard is no longer SD, it's gone to HD. And then Warwick Marias as well, from the mix in Santa Monica, came in and did a final 5:1 surround mix for it. And sounds beautiful, and the final product, I think, is one that is a real testament to the quality that we were setting out for in the beginning as one of our initial goals. I think we were able to accomplish that.
I think one of the biggest blessings and that we've had about this is the fact that you're going to get a chance to see the film, and not every film gets a chance to be seen. Not every film that ever gets made sees the light of day, and not every film gets picked up by a company who wants to show it, that said, hey, this is something that people will want to watch, and this is a film that's worthy of putting out there. Yeah,
here's what we have. We have an interesting story. We've got a great director. We've got a strong cast. We have a really beautiful location, and we think we put all that together, and it's a piece that is worth watching, and I believe that everyone would enjoy the opportunity to sit down and watch La Mesa. So thanks for joining us for this making of, behind the scenes little featurette regarding La Mesa, and
hope you enjoy the film.